Game Freak may have Thanos snapped Dexter in half, and a lot of yous are still probably raging over it. I mean, it's kind of peak, sure, no one rates Game Freak for doing it, but what are you gonna do about it? Play the games day one anyway, you're damn right. So I'm focused on everything new that's been added, and Galar has some of the most creative designs that we've seen in a long time. And with only 80 new Pokémon, Galar still delivers. With one of my favourite Pokémon unironically being an angry crab pugilist, this one was made for me. One that somehow didn't turn out to be a Galar form when the leaks happened. I had no idea it was meant to be an evolution in the first place. But not only that, an evolution so prestige, it gained an entire rank. Everyone that developed back in the beach region, they just got A slapped on their name. Farfetch'd adapted so well, it got knighted. It went up like 3 stages on the socioeconomic ladder, because UK Farfetch'd is better than you, and it knows it. Farfetch'd is a near extinct delicacy. You try and hunt down Surfetch'd, it'll chop you up into rice. If you actually manage to hunt one down as if it's a filthy lower class fetched, as a higher ranked specimen in the region, as a knighted sir, the Queen is legally obligated to carry out capital punishment and consume you whole, whether it be alive or in rice form. I roasted Trace pretty hard for being the worst champion, you know, because his team peeked 10 steps out of his front door by catching a Pidgey. But as soon as I saw Corviknight, I knew everyone's team was peeking if this is Galar's Pidgeot. That's how hard the UK is. Even our birds will shank you. 10 steps out your front door in other regions, there's maybe a rat or two. In the ends, you walk to the corner shop avoiding hordes of the Black Knight. And it's exactly that. Galar's candied up Pidgey. And when I think about it, it's honestly the first time I've been interested in the Route 1 bird ever. They took the least creative concept of each region, second to Rodent, yellow or not, and made it one of the most creative designs of the new generation. UK based region, you know they needed to pull off the Knight gimmick in some way. They could have just reskinned Bisharp like a lot of us were expecting, and that probably would have been just fine as a Knight. But just fine wasn't good enough. Wasn't pushing the needle, because who's even talking about Bisharp right now? Well, why am I even talking about him? Who cares? Who's giving you any ratings when the 7-foot Raven made of steel is about 2 Rotom charges away in my BMX from where you are? In this world, Wingulls swoop down at you and steal a chip or 2 from me at the beach. Corviknight swoops down, it'll steal 4,000 life points. If one of these came down from the sky to steal food off me, man, I'd have to go buy more food. For him, mercy please. This next singular Pokemon is not only host to 6 individual creatures, it's host to one of the best attack animations in the series, Phalanx. The Pokemon equivalent of you and the boys assemble in a 6-a-side squad. Creativity points alone for giving me the same vibe that a Kirby enemy does. Can already imagine the mechanic of Kirby only being able to absorb one at a time, and you have to wear them down piece by piece. And piece by piece. That's something I can't be bothered to question about you. A 6-piece Pokemon that's somehow one Pokemon. Well, I don't care. At this point, near 25 years in, why would you care anyway? Its design is like a high-effort execute, and no one's complaining about the logistics of those seeds existing as a unit. They all look like they hate each other anyway. I could appreciate the creativity here a whole lot more with Phalanx, since their gimmick is teamwork as a wee platoon. As great as Gen 8 has turned out to be, it doesn't change the fact that many remain fallen after the freak concussed half of Dexter's memory. One of the fallen brothers was a tough one to process. Now I went searching all across the wild area. I see Krabby. I see Corphish. I even see a Crawdon who I'm too afraid to make eye contact with. But I don't see a single angry pugilist crab stumbling around half blind off pure rum consumption, who I'm still also too afraid to make eye contact with. He's not around. He's nowhere here. Don't blame the lad, to be fair. No wonder he's not migrated over. Couldn't find a single pub in this entire region. But Crabrawler's sacrifice wasn't in vain. He was left to session the Alola region so that Grappaloct could continue his legacy for future generations. The pugilist crab lives on through the Jujitsu Cephalopod. 8 tentacles on the register. Lethal weapons. All of them. Especially the one wrapped around his piece. This one is a genius design, because really, how are you gonna out-grapple an octopus? Your man has 8 limbs of pure muscle. Man could submit you 3 times at once and still have enough tentacles left to massage its own head because it feels like it. It would fight you for your shoes and then tie both of them while he's locking you in a banana split. And he's a modest cephalopod. He guns straight towards you the moment you step into his ends. And even if you don't, the lad steps onto land looking for a scrap outside of his own element. That's real nice of him, just to give you a chance. Don't know how you're not a water type though. Crabrawler I kinda get, but you spawned from water. You're more water than Cramorant is. So why? Naturally, living up to Crabrawler, he wants to make a statement. He's that dehydrated off all the grog he's consumed, he's just lost the water type. You know how you evolved Crabrawler by training it in the icy mountains? For whatever reason, why are you gonna do that though? Obstagoon is when you evolve Lanoon by training it in the UK punk scene. That was the first impression I got from it, and I'm glad that's actually what they were going for here. They went all in on the punk rock vibe with the Toxtricity duo and Rillaboom. And this one's designed for me as well. He looks like a Sonic Underground henchman, but in a good way, in the best way possible, or like a Ninja Turtles goon. Look at this henchman, and tell me you can't imagine him poorly animated talking like, "I can't wait to crush those Ninja Turtles." They're not called that in this region. They're Hero Turtles. Oh yeah. You're right. This one bangs extra hard, purely for making the least interesting gimmick of each generation, the Route 1 Pokeball tutorial, worth investing in. Your team would grow out of Lanoon by like the 4th badge in Hoenn. The Rattatas of each region are never worth fully investing in past HM slaves. Now HMs are out of the job, their stock is at an all-time low. They've got to start pulling their weight a bit more, which is exactly what they've allowed Zigzagoon to do, because it has something the other runts don't, actual potential. And on top of that, the most unique end result compared to the Watchhogs and Raticates out there. Galar pulled off the Galarian forms really well, for the most part. Regional variants were so hyped to the point where I didn't even expect him to dish out some evolutions for him as well, especially for Yanovians, like Yamask. No one's expecting that, especially with Cofagrigus holding his own. That evolution line seems complete enough. But Runerigus, that's how you say it? Who discovered you? Scooby-Doo. Sound job being able to pull off something just as creative as Cofagrigus to begin with. That's a high standard to live up to in terms of design. Definitely a few weight classes up from Phalanx competing with Execute. A possessed rune containing the memories of its past has got to be one of the more creative Galarians out there. Even just for how oddly specific its evolution method is. Pokemon have all these abilities, right? Like Chansey being able to make you happy. Or Gardevoir predicting the future and protecting you with his life. Runerigus crashes the sesh like the uncle who's meant to be on the blue labels like, "Hey kids, how about some trauma?" And goes around touching them all. Wait, no. I mean, Runerigus has the power to show you the horrific memories behind the picture carved onto it whenever you touch it. Your man's so cursed, its special power is to mentally scar you for life. Now, we've had keyrings, we've had ice creams, we've had God himself, but this is the one. This is the one that's finally convinced me you can make a Pokemon have anything. How are you going to turn an apple pie into a Pokemon? Not just that, but pulling it off so well, none of yous are complaining about it. Seriously, think about this. Just imagine how many people would be fuming if they made an apple pie based Pokemon back in Gen 5. To each their own, you guys do you, but mine is staying off the Wumpa fruits, keeping them on a strict sweet apple diet, because this thick ton of apple is the evolution line to go for. Man, Flapple, I don't know if it's the order of the Pokedex, or if it's just because your Sideman tier. I could have sworn you were the middle evolution. You're not bad, but you don't strike me as an evolution. It's creative, sure, but you're looking more like Applin if it had a hangry form. Appleton is sick though. I wish I knew it existed, because I'd have copped it for the first playthrough. Obstagoon may look like a poorly animated Sonic Underground henchman, but you know who isn't too far off themselves? The Toxtricity boys. We went from having 0 electric poison Pokemon to having 2. kinda. We've got a low-key and an amped form, the bass and the lead, the backbone of the Galar punk rock scene. Get him G-maxed up and he'll smash a guitar on a football pitch. Live in the gimmick. And like some of the others on this list, I didn't know the amp form existed playing through. Kinda pissed that my kid grew up to be a bass player, because I much prefer the yellow one. But then again, I definitely still rate Toxtricity just as highly, even if the blue 4-string version was the only one that existed. It's just that the yellow and purple colour scheme slaps a whole lot more. Either way, an electric poison guitarist that strums its chest to poison you, that's mad. Gigantamax Toxtricity, he ever feels like doing a cover of Holy Wars, busting out the Megadeth, we're all mega dead. This one's creative alone, just for being a bit unprecedented. Not as unprecedented as Electric Poison in Toxtricity, but Dragapult is the first non-legendary to pull off the Ghost and Dragon type combination. And it's not just got that type combo to probably end up being overpowered online, it's because it's the stealth Pokemon. And what's more stealth-like than two types that barely exist to begin with? Ghosts and Dragons are one of the more rare types going, let alone one that's both of them combined and shoots weaponized offspring out of its own forehead. Keeps a few Dreepy on call for whenever it needs to hand out the business to any opposition. It sounds dodgy at first, assigning the role of ammunition to the youths of your species, but they're keen for being weaponized. They get a nice cozy forehead sheath to live in, just waiting for the chance for its Big Daddy Dragapult to bust them out on whoever steps up. They're all game for it. Don't know, they just like it, I guess. Shooting missiles, floating around without a trace. You're a solid 9 kill streak, you literal weapon. I can mostly forgive all of the EVs and the Gengars being forced onto us, good or bad, because it feels like for every forced Charizard form or Kanto nostalgia bait they shovel out, they seem to hand out a deserving form or evolution as well. I caught wind of Galarian Corsola before playing, but I had no clue it spawned this sleep paralysis demon. My first encounter, I misread the prompt as, "Trainer is about to send out Corsola, what will you do?" The first form, right? So seeing him chuck out this weapon onto the field for the first time, legit jump scare. Haven't been that shook since Platinum and Giratina went straight for my throat through my DS light screen. But then I stopped being lazy, you know, of reading, and I realized, oh, they've not just wiped out Corsola with climate change, they've gone and evolved it too. I love this design because I love when Pokemon gets even the slightest bit dark, as it realistically would be, and Corsola is terrifying. It looks dead inside and out. Corsola shows up in one of my fever dreams, starts haunting me about the environment. I will go vegan, man. You're that terrifying. I will give up meat.